This is my quickie recipe for baked corn tortilla chips made from scratch. I have come up with an easy recipe that minimizes the amount of mess. They do take some time to make, but all the steps are simple and require very little skills and no special tools. They are very crunchy, snappy, and very moreish. I'm making my dough in a frying pan because I will be cooking the tortillas in this pan later, so I thought might as well use it for mixing the dough. But you can use a mixing bowl if you prefer. 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. The reason why I put this in first is only because my baking powder is so clumpy. I want to use a spatula to break it up first. If yours isn't, just add after the flour. Add 130 grams of plain or all-purpose flour, 130 grams of cornmeal. I'm using fine cornmeal. I imagine coarse cornmeal will work as well. Little over half teaspoon of salt. If you like saltier flavor, you can use more. A dash of cayenne pepper. You can use paprika or black pepper instead if you like. Add 120 milliliters, 16 grams of hot water. Not boiling hot, just steamy hot, not too hot to touch. 10 grams of vegetable oil. Don't be tempted to add too much oil. This may sound weird, but more oil would actually make them less crunchy. But don't skip the oil either, otherwise the texture will be too dry and grainy. When it's shaggy like this, I switch to my hand. I use a non-stick pan because it's the only one I have. I think a stainless steel or cast iron pan would be just fine or even better. If there are dry bits, you can add a tiny bit more water to help incorporate. This dough is very easy to handle. There is enough flour to hold it together, but also enough cornmeal to make it not sticky. Knead the dough ball for 1 minute. Different brands of cornmeal and flour could be different. If the dough is too sticky, use more cornmeal. If the dough is too crumbly and not holding together, use more flour or maybe more water. Coat with a little vegetable oil and cover with plastic wrap. I purposely use a larger piece because I'll be reusing it later. Let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes. I don't like to work the dough directly on my countertop, so here's what I do. Wet the surface slightly, then lay down a piece of plastic wrap. It sticks onto a damp surface, so stays in place. Divide into 6 dough balls. Coat with the residual oil in the pan. This is to prevent them drying out while working. Put the pan on the stove top to heat over medium heat. Because this dough is so easy to work with, I'm going to save my rolling pin and just use my hands. Press out the dough ball using my palm and fingers. Of course, you can use a rolling pin if you prefer. This is a very easy dough to roll out. And if there is a tear, it's easy to patch up. I press it out to about 18 to 20 centimeter diameter, about 1 to 1.5 millimeter thick. Pick it up and transfer into the pan. Keep the heat on medium or medium-high. It makes most sense to press out the next one while the first one is cooking. It takes less time to press than to cook. Each side should take about 2 minutes to cook. The first tortilla might take a bit longer. Adjust your heat as necessary. It's done when it has some brown edges and spots. I put the cooked tortillas on a baking tray lined with foil. Put the next one in. The frying pan is still pretty clean afterwards. They're actually kind of crunchy already. To make them even crunchier, I baked them a little in the oven. I don't mind them irregular and rustic looking, but if you want neat looking chips, you can cut them with kitchen scissors while they're still warm. It's fun to bake them by hand. Put in the oven that's preheated to 170 degrees Celsius or 150 for a fan oven. Bake for around 12 minutes. And here they are. They're hot, so wait a couple minutes before handling. They shouldn't have browned too much more in the oven. To check that they're ready, look for a thicker piece and eat it to find out. It should be snappy and crunchy, not the same texture as Doritos. They're firmer and not greasy. Once they're cooled, you can store in a bag or box. They keep well for several days. Thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and check out my other videos. All my recipes are designed to be simple with minimal washing up, and there will be more to come.